fast forward about a year. At that point, I was really struggling. And that's why I ran my blood work the second time. I don't even think I can describe to you guys that fatigue is not even a strong enough word. Through this is actually maybe very vulnerable share in terms of like how the last year has gone for me. But through 2025, the exhaustion that I was dealing with was aggressive to the point where normally I can push through, and I would have strings of weeks where like I couldn't even get out of bed. And it was bare minimum at work. It also came with aggressive brain fog. I lost all my creativity. I really, really struggled with, being my best self for my clients. I did not feel smart. If you listen to the podcast, you'll notice that there was actually no podcast episodes for November or December of last year. And that was because I just quite literally couldn't. I could not get anything out of my brain. And it was incredibly challenging for someone who has always been on top of things, type A, intelligent. I pride myself on being able to articulate things well and teach. And that's such a big part of what I do. To lose that, to feel like I sit here and can't even think of a word that I want to say. And you might even notice if you go back and listen to some old podcast episodes, they are different. They are. And I know that. And my brain was not working. And so those were the two really big things that, in combination with the like extreme fatigue, this unrelenting brain fog, I felt like I had about 1/8 of my brain. That then bled into me having a lot of depressive and anxiety symptoms because I was so stressed about how I was feeling. How am I going to do this? I did not feel like I was doing a good job at work or doing a good job at home. Forget the work part. Being a parent to a newly diagnosed celiac neurodivergent child, as well as a second neurodivergent child, was challenging, aggressively challenging. So I had very little energy credits to give. When I'm feeling well, if I start with 10 energy credits, when I felt like this, I probably had 2 to give during the day. I could give 1 to work and 1 to my kids, and that was it. I spent a lot of time in bed. I will be perfectly transparent about that. I spent a lot of time laying in bed. I also really struggled to exercise. I wanted to exercise, but eventually the fatigue got so bad, the motivation to exercise got so tough to push through. But not only that, is what really started at the beginning was when I would exercise, I couldn't breathe. And that really bothered me. It scared me, and it doesn't feel good when you can't breathe. So even though I was doing things that I felt were well within my capacity for my training level, I was struggling with shortness of breath and rapid heart rate. So I was typically dealing with a very high heart rate, just sitting. Like I would lay in bed and my heart rate would be in the 90s. When I would go to work out, it would jack up very quickly to like 150, 160, 170. That doesn't feel good. And it would take a long time to come down. So I really, really, even if I did Pilates, I really struggled, which then turned into me really not moving my body a whole lot because it honestly didn't feel good in that time frame. I lost a lot of hair. My nails were okay. I always have had cold hands and feet. Did that get worse? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure. I had a lot of like muscle pain and tension that was like, again, unrelenting. My periods got heavier. My luteal phases got shorter. And I was having that rapid heart rate. So I had a lot of the symptoms, and I didn't just have a lot of the symptoms. I had a lot of the symptoms really badly. So every day was just a struggle. It was a hard struggle.